Hello and welcome to Two Blokes in a Cave, a vaguely philosophical podcast hosted by me, Carlton Sin, a enjoyer of English poetry, and my good friend Cameron, the resident philosophical expert. And
I also like English poetry.
it's hard not to. When you're a kid, English poetry gets poetry in general gets crapped on.
Yeah.
But the older you get, poetry's really cool. I don't understand
The Irish
why.
stuff's really good too as well.
I'm not sure why poetry gets a bad name. It's cool.
It's because they introduce it to you in like a really bad part of English. And they go like, let's analyze this terrible shit
school.
time.
It's just a terrible time altogether. Just a bunch of crap.
You go, I really like this one. They go, well, not analyzing that one, Johnny. We're talking about similes here, not whatever the hell you're talking about. I'm like,
Yeah, not good. Poetry, good. English in high school, not good. Okay, all right. Very good.
Yeah.
My disdain for the public school system continues and will never, ever end.
Fair enough.
Okay, it's a vendetta, really, at this point. I never even went to public school. That's how bad it is. That's just...
outside the window. No one's learning anything.
It's a vitriol. If those kids could read, they'd be really offended right now. It's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Private school boys. Here we go. Okay, great. Well, look, we're doing first thought.
Yeah.
This is going to be an all over the place one because it's broad and it's also specific in its sort of origin. The question essentially is, it's the inverted Mark Twain quote that reads, "You're never wrong to do the right thing." So the inverse would be, can you do the wrong thing and get a good outcome? Get a right. Can you do an immoral act and get a righteous outcome?
Yeah.
Maybe. And the boys were giving me a hard time before the show.
Yeah.
Because they make some very good points, and it is very, very hard to refute the extreme examples, which we will definitely touch on at some point. But I want to throw it to you. What do you think? What is your first thought?
I definitely think you could definitely do the wrong thing and get a right outcome. But then does that mean you're focusing more on like the actual act, the intention, or like the outcome itself? Because you could like, we didn't really talk about this. This is a very loose one, by the way. We didn't really like think about this or whatever. You could you could go and you could get a bunch of flowers and you're like, I'm going to get Johnny because he's fully allergic to flowers and I'm going to get him so good. And then you get to the store, the guy's door knocking, I'm like, I'm going to give him these flowers, get an allergic reaction because I hate this dude. And like he opens the door up and he goes, oh, thanks, and gives it to his grandma, and like turns out the granddad died and he goes, oh, that's so thoughtful of you. And you go, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, these are the ones that we definitely love and aren't allergic to. Oh, okay, yeah, thanks. And then you're invited in and it's like, oh no, this is a terrible example I just came up with.
Enemy. That's not a great example. I love it.
Like you know. Okay, so
Give us the go straight to the extreme. I know you want
experience. Well, yeah, okay, right. So
he's dancing around here.
What's bad? Murder's pretty bad.
Nazis.
Nazis and murder. Killing people and children and
what's bad?
People.
Nazis. All right, man. This guy's
so
on YouTube.
And what's not that bad? Maybe lying compared to murder.
Yeah, comparatively, definitely not as bad as murder. I don't think anyone's going to make that argument. Not even me.
No.
And I've been known to die on some pretty crazy hills, so I'm not this time.
I will lie before I'd stop murdering you. No, anyway. But the whole, I guess we're talking about the example, I think we're stealing from a famous philosophical example from somewhere, maybe Kant or something.
Yeah,
but we're saying like a Nazis rock up to your door and you're hiding some Jewish people in the back and they say, hey, we're looking for these specific people. Are they here? And you have a chance to lie or not lie. But lying is bad in this scenario.
Lying's bad in the world.
In every scenario, well, maybe not this scenario. So do you tell them?
Like, lying is still bad. It's just less bad than the alternative. I don't think anyone would say lying is a good.
No. I mean, white lies.
Again, you might say, but white lies are also, they have intrinsically damaging effects on
something.
Yeah.
Well, is it okay to then tell these Nazis that they're not here, go away?
Yeah, it's Hans. Actually, I think it's Hans. Hans Gruber. I want to say in this scenario, I can't think of a good reason to not attempt a lie.
Right.
In this specific 1941 French town,
right,
when the Germans are coming through. Like, I can't think of a great rebuttal.
It makes a very short Anne Frank story, though, doesn't it?
Doesn't
They're
it?
Like, where's Anne Frank? Oh, she's upstairs. Oh, damn. Whoops.
Got him.
She's in the attic.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for lying being bad and an immoral act. can't think of a reason why you wouldn't lie to save a life or to do something better. So I guess, and that's, again, this is very much on the cuff. I'm sure there probably is a reasonably interesting
counter argument or something?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the Kantian, the Kantian thing is, I think vaguely you're never wrong. You never right to the wrong thing. I think it's vaguely the
I think his thing
Kantian.
is like, never do something that if you extrapolated it to every single person doing it, it would be a net zero. So if everyone then lied in every scenario,
it'd be very bad.
society would be garbage. So therefore,
there's not a lot of nuance to that particular logic, but like there is something to lying and what it does. I'm just trying to think of a maybe slightly less extreme version. Well, how about this? Before we go, I asked sort of off air, like, if you
segue,
if you're going, we'll bring producer Brendos in. He wants to say a quick word, so let's bring Brendos in. Brendos, what do you got, mate?
Hello. I was going down the thought pattern of if there was a dying child and had cancer, terminal, can't do anything about it. Dying wish was for you to get his letter to Santa delivered to Santa.
Gotcha.
Are you going to lie and tell him that's going to happen to ease his kind of passing? Or are you going to tell him the truth and be like, look, Santa's not real?
It's pretty good.
I'll leave you with that one.
That's really good. I like that.
It's put on my heartstrings.
Yeah, then that's less extreme than dying. So yeah,
definitely less extreme than Nazis.
Murder.
Yeah, I guess I think. Look, something fairly similar. My granddad had dementia at the end and didn't know who I was. Like, he could tell I was important to him, but he didn't know what the relation was. Like, I think he thought at one point I served with him.
Yeah.
In the Navy, which is, I guess, flattering. But also I'm like 20. So, a little green to be a veteran.
Maybe just ready to roll.
Yeah, but like that's obviously dementia, pretty horrible. And I think there were two schools of thought at the time. One of them was we shouldn't play into the delusions of someone we love because that's not charitable for them ultimately. Like even if they are on the way out and they are dying, which he wasn't expressly dying like this kid, and I will get around to answering this, by the way. I'm just sort of making a more broad point about like what is actually the most charitable thing to do. Oftentimes it is tell the truth, even if it is hard to hear. And I've spoken to you at length about having a friend or a small group of friends that you are close enough to that you are comfortable giving them bad news or telling them things that they are not going to want to hear, that they will be upset at you in the moment.
Hard thing to do.
Very hard to do. But I also expect that from you and from my close friends. Like, I don't need cheerleaders when I'm doing the wrong thing. I need people that are strong enough to say, hey, Carlton, like, that's not the right thing to do. I need you to, you will thank me for this tomorrow morning, but right now you can't do that. And you can't do it, but you're obviously, something's going on that you're not thinking clearly, you're not engaging your higher faculties of reason. So I would say when I was younger, going through it in person without the sort of wisdom of a little bit of age, a little bit of experience in life, I was definitely more in the just placate, go along with what my granddad says. But when I look back at it, I actually think it's kind of sad because by doing that, I didn't get to see my granddad as my granddad. Like, he talked to me as if I was a sailor. But I could have just said, hey, I'm actually your granddad. I'm actually your grandson.
I'm actually your granddad. Yeah. That's sorry. Yeah.
He would have been freaked out.
Yeah,
but I instead of actually just saying like, hey, I'm actually not Joe Blow from the HMS Victory. Yeah. I'm actually your grandson, Carlton. And we've had many a great experience together. And I want to remember you as my grandfather too. It's not a one-way, like life is not like a one-way street in that respect. Obviously, the dying child is such a, really pulls on my heart. I have a really hard time now dealing with anything about children, anything bad that happens to children. I really have a hard time wanting anything to do with it. Like, I don't even want to think about it. I would 100% do basically anything to help this kid out, because I have small kids and it crushes my like kind of heart. It's really heavy on the soul to think about a child suffering. It's a horrible thing.
Yes.
I'd much rather suffer myself or, see you suffer, basically, as a grown man. Like, it's much easier to say, like, you're a grown person, you can kind of bear the load or the weight of death is obviously horrible, but you're a grown up. You can kind of deal with it. But a child is just awful. So in this situation with a child, I would lie. I would feel bad for lying, because you're not, the argument, I guess, would be, are you easing the pain or are you numbing the child to the realities? And where does that, because that logic actually does apply fairly broadly to if you have children, and we obviously lie to our, we omit certain details.
Yeah, well, there's
to
lots
children.
of lies going on to kids.
Yeah, sure.
Gosh. Yeah.
But we would recognize that there are things, if our kids wanted to do certain things, that we would tell them, we would tell them the truth if it was going to hurt them,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into too political, but like, if my son was wearing a dress and he was like, I'm a girl, I would just say no. I think that's the most charitable thing to do. I think that's what everyone should do, because he's 2, so like he has no concept of who he is, let alone anything as arbitrary as sort of a gender. So it would seem to me that the rule would be telling the truth, whilst perhaps harder in the moment, is almost always better in the long term. And even this scenario with the sick child would be, how much worse is his life knowing that Santa is Saint Nick? No, is not real.
Yes.
In his imagination.
Yeah. Well, I think the key term there is like long term. The kid's got no long term.
Yeah.
And so I think also the thing is, if it's his dying wish, the kid must find this important as hell. Like, if it was like some side quest for this kid, it was like, side note, like, I really want to talk to my grandma, but like send this letter to thing. I'd be like, oh, well, by the way, it's a good time to tell you that we're not going to send this. We're going to rip this shit up as soon as you like
You've
leave.
been a kid.
Yeah, but if the kid's like, the only hope in my life is to send this to Santa, you just say it, I think, because it's like, do we want to disappoint this kid with like 2 minutes to live? Fuck. Like, you don't want to be dying whether you're disappointed. He's got no like time to recoup that, like.
Okay, but what about this?
Anything.
And I've made my position very clear on this. So
you're going to tell the kid that
I'm not a
Santa's
monster.
not real.
But what about this though? Santa's not real.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what is real is your family that's here that wants to see you. Like, being wholly present with the people that genuinely do care about you is better than kind of being absent mentally, thinking about a letter going to the trash in the next room. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that would be, I guess, that's the best I could do on the spot by way of kind of.
Well, there you go. Okay,
telling
actually,
the truth.
If you were to talk, depending how old this kid is, by the way, if he's like super duper young.
If he's 17, he probably should know. So you just gotta,
legally a child.
You gotta wrap the Band-Aid up.
Yeah, no, but I think, I think that's a good point. You could say, listen, that's really awesome. What did you want to say to Santa? We could say that, but would you want to say that to Mum? Isn't there something more important you like to say to Mum?
Yeah.
I want a toy. What's the letter? You remember the letter it says?
Okay.
What does Brendan have to say?
Producer Brendos is just
He's
ready.
chucked us
He's
down
ready.
his
He's ready to
rabbit
fight me here. He wants to come. I can sense it. What do you got, Brendos?
Hello again. I am going to make this a little harder for you then.
Okay.
Let's say the child's biggest hero is LeBron James, not Santa. And his dying wish is to get this letter to LeBron James. You, in Australia, I feel your chances of actually doing that is pretty low. What are you going to tell the child?
I mean, that one I think is easier. I just tell a child, I will do the best I can to get this to LeBron James. I mean, I could Google. I know where he lives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You could.
You could go to his house in LA and
Break in, wake in the middle of the night. I have a letter for you.
No, you could just put it in the mailbox.
Yeah, that's true.
Nutcase. Yeah, break in. You can just put it in the mailbox.
I think you could make a TikTok and then a YouTube and like go on the dying journey and be like, LeBron, you'd be a loser not to reply to this, and then you shame him into
I
it.
think there is a real difference between if my dying wish was achievable and you asking, and me asking you to do something, and you saying, Carlton, because of the love I have for you and the just tremendous friendship that you have given me the last 10 to 15 years.
What am I doing?
I don't know. Who knows? I will do my best job. Like, I will do the best I can to see this through. And I think that's the truth. Like, you could just say to the person, the chances are low.
So
It's not a lie to say that you'll try to do something.
So is the lie like Brendos to say, yeah, we're definitely going to do that. No, you can die. Or is it like you're going to be really honest and say,
This is not
listen,
getting to
son, the
LeBron.
odds of this are super low. Your hero doesn't even give a shit about you in reality. Like, I know you bought all his clothes and stuff, but like, nah. Is that what you're saying? Are you being so honest that it's like brutal?
I am an advocate for telling child the letter's going to LeBron.
Okay, fair enough.
I can do my best, knowing the chances are ridiculously low, but I would tell him it's going there and give him...
I would do the same. If the heartache was so extreme,
Okay.
I don't think... But hang on, there's a selfish component to that because I think that might harm me if I saw this kid in so much pain that I told him the truth. That now he's dead and I'm like, I really didn't need to do that. I'd just be thinking the whole thing over my head forever and ever that I didn't do the right thing.
You know, they say
That's a
boys,
selfish thing, really.
extreme cases make bad law, and that's a crazy term. I think there probably is an element of truth to there is like the time aspect of a lie is probably important. Like over time, lies tend to be found out and cause more grief than they solve initially. Right? If you're going to die in 15 minutes, then that's,
What about...
it
Well,
takes
this
away that.
this kind of reminds me of that Seinfeld thing where he's like, can you give me back that check, kid? I didn't need me to give you this. It's actually supposed to go somewhere else. I know what you want. I'm going to get out of this chair and walk again. Yeah, that's really great, kid, but I really need that check. Wait, this side chance, I don't know.
Do like Seinfeld.
Yeah, it isn't bad. Here's a good example. So lying's always a bad thing. What about lying by omission?
Yeah, it's still lying.
By the way, I would definitely tell him I'm sending a letter to LeBron, by the way, so I don't. But yeah.
Yeah, send the angry letters to me. Instagram at Carlton.
You're going to bust through the
Just a
door.
terrible
He's never going to
person.
get there.
I think there is a difference between being like telling the truth doesn't necessarily mean being viciously brutal.
Yeah.
I can be like, hey,
Delivery.
I will try my best to get this to LeBron.
My best is very low.
But it's not like that low. Like you can Google his agent. You can
You could figure
find
it out.
a place to
Will
like,
you accept this?
LeBron James obviously gets letters. Like there's a place that
Yeah, it
collates letters that he gets, and
Yeah.
underpants or something from crazy fan ladies probably. But there's like a place people send stuff for LeBron James.
What about like lying by omission? Like you're saying it always causes harm. Like let's say you are in a family and you just don't tell
I am in a
anyone
family.
about yourself, and it's like maybe a secret or some shit that they don't really need to know, but you just don't tell them because you think about it poorly. I don't know, something like that. What happened to that thing we gave you, that like desk? And you actually threw it away straight away, and you go, "Oh, I've been using it." Yeah.
Well, that's not lying by omission. That's just
Okay,
straight
right.
up lying.
Okay, let's say like maybe that is a straight lie. Well, let's just say you're like I don't know what's
A lie by omission would be this, you turkey, you son of a
well, let's
gun.
just say like you're a Democrat or something, and the whole family's Republican, and you just don't tell them who you're voting for. Do you know what I mean? You don't. No one really. They
Who
don't
are you
really
voting for?
officially
Yeah, I'm
ask you.
voting.
Or something like that.
Okay,
you know.
cool. Just for again, in case it's not clear, a lie by omission is essentially you telling a story but leaving out part of the story
Because I've made it so clear. Yeah.
because you're worried that part will get you into trouble. I think that's an interesting distinction. Obviously, it's very circumstance dependent.
Yeah.
If I asked you, if I asked you something like, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. It's actually fairly difficult. Okay. If I lend you my car and you take it for a drive, and you hit something,
Right.
and I ask you like, hey, how'd the car go? You go, yeah, the car drives great. And then you omit the fact that you drove into something.
Yeah.
That would be a lie by omission, and that doesn't serve you any good because it's on your conscience and it weighs on
When you open the garage door, there's gonna be some shit all ding through the car. No, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But that's what a lie of omission is broadly. And again, like it's actually kind of difficult to come up with something on the fly.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, I think it's worse when there's not actual full harm to you that you're going to find out. Like if you're asking like Cam, what are your thoughts about this? And like me telling you yes or no won't affect anything. But I just straight up lie because I don't want you to know.
See, this is the thing.
You'd be like, what do you think about abortion? I'm like, yeah. And I'll just say some shit that like maybe.
Okay, yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, and then you just don't say that.
Okay, well, how's this though? Right? How's this for that example?
Yeah.
And this example goes to, I am going to omit the truth of my opinion.
Yeah.
To spare the feelings of the people who are asking.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm really getting at. Yeah.
I would contend and I would say that you just don't have any respect for those people.
What if your family? Like it's going to really harm them. It only really works if it's your family, I think, because otherwise it's like
no.
See, it's your friends. You should probably not be friends with if you keep lying all the time.
Well, I would say if you respected me, which I hope you do, because I don't think you can fake respect. I think respect is you either respect someone or you don't.
Right.
But I would say like I respect you enough as a grown adult human with faculties of reason and a will that is different to mine, that if I have a point of difference with you, I'm not embarrassed or I'm not worried about you thinking less of me as a person, that I will tell you. And I'm also confident enough and I have enough respect for you that I will tell you to your face, like, hey, I don't agree with your driving skills, which is terrible, by the way. I don't agree. Some of those car analogies are way too close to home.
What if I actually crash into someone? They're going to use this footage as like so we heard it was a terrible drive. No, I'm all right. He's been a turn.
But there's an element of, your friends should be able to handle disagreements, and I would say the mark of respect for someone is to say things without fear of. Okay, let me back up a little bit and give an example of what I'm trying to say. In the Catholic tradition, you can't get divorced. You can separate if there's, I think, abuse, and there's a couple of like very serious, grave things that you can separate yourself, obviously, but you can't actually get divorced because the whole idea is, what God has joined, no man can tear asunder, which is a beautiful thing. When you get married, that's it for life. There is a confidence that I can operate in, and so can my wife, that I'm not going to leave her. It's never an option. It's not on the cards. So if we do have a disagreement, or I don't have to, I'm not fearful of her just saying, that's it. I'm sick of you. I'm leaving. It's not a fear of mine. And I have seen people who have typically been divorced and they're on their second marriage and they're very scared of the wife or husband leaving them again, that they kind of, disrespect themselves by not being their authentic self.
Lots of compromise. Compromise to the point of...
Okay. And I think that is like a dangerous, disrespectful way to live life. Because life is for living, and life is... disagreements are part of life, and we certainly disagree regularly and often about ancillary things mostly, but I assume, because I can't speak for you, but I'm fairly confident you're okay telling me things that I don't want to hear. Because I definitely want you to be, be Catholic, for example. But I'm okay that you're.
No, I'm just joking.
I'm okay with you. You have your own life, you have your own journey. Like I'm not. It's mostly tongue in cheek, but obviously, I would love to see you and Brandos and everybody. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see you guys there. Like because that's what I believe is the best way to do it. And my love for my friends is I want you all to also live the best life, have the best life. And I know that that's something that we don't necessarily agree with 100% right now, but I don't feel weird about saying that to you, because I accept that, I accept that we're different, and I respect you enough to tell you the truth, basically in all situations.
And you're being authentic.
I mean, authentic.
Yeah, and that's
I think that's.
I'm all about it. I think
So what scenario could you give, because you brought it up, and I want to see if I can rebuke it in a way that convinces you to get on board the don't lie by omitting details.
What scenario could I give?
Where you think it would be okay to lie by omission. Your dear
that's
old
a
mum,
great question.
she baked you some cookies. Cameron, did you like them? I ate them.
That's a good one. Yeah, I ate them.
But here's
They were
the
there.
thing-
They were
Here's the
cookies.
thing, though. Like, I don't actually like these cookies. Can you please put more sugar in them or whatever?
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. This was the recipe that was.
But what would be more upsetting to your mother in this situation?
Yeah.
Which I know I said you'd come up with it, but I saw you waffling, so I'm taking over here.
waffling.
But would it be more upsetting to your mother in the long term to know that you don't like her cookies actually, or that you just need more sugar to make them tasty? As a very, again, I'm not a baker, so I don't know. Like just actually, could you make Anzac biscuits and chocolate chip biscuits, and I'd like them much more. If you never spoke up because you were afraid of hurting her feelings, and she cooked you chocolate chip biscuits for 30 years, for some reason, but she did because she loves you, and the whole time you're like, I don't like these, but I don't want to hurt my mum's feelings. And then eventually it comes out, because these things kind of always tend to come out. And she's like, I would have happily made
way
you.
worse.
I would have
10 times
happily
worse.
made you Anzac biscuits, because I only make them because I thought you liked them.
Yeah, that would be worse. That's like the
Yeah.
sitcom of like everyone's
for
like,
sure.
Raymond, I thought you loved these, and I hate them, but I'm just being nice.
No, it's to be nice.
No, definitely.
Nice, by the way. Etymology, ignorant. Don't be nice, be kind.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, nice is I agree. Kind
Nice
of
is
far more better.
Terrible.
Formal, but that's not even bad
Banal.
English. Yeah, I mean, I'm from before. I think in general, you definitely should be able to disagree and have these arguments with people, especially your friends and family. And I find that's a thing that people can't do anymore, which really pisses me off, because I actually like disagreeing with people, and then I just move the shit on and do something else. But for some odd reason, people get real like butthurt about this these days, and just like think that specific things are really
social
more
media
important.
thing, you reckon?
Nah, I think it's just
People are
it
soft.
doesn't happen that often because people don't argue and stuff.
But is it because of the social media like echo chamber, where they just hang around with people that are basically the same as them?
Yeah, there's a bit of
So
that.
that when there is difference, they don't know how to react to difference.
Yeah, there's a bit of
Is
that.
that, you reckon? Because
there's a
I
bit
was
of
wondering about
groupthink
that,
and
because
stuff
I certainly think like I never really think about like different politics or opinions, like or even really like, I mean, I don't think our values are massively unaligned, but they're obviously like they're not down the, like I have obviously friends that go to like mass every week with me, and they certainly would be much more closely aligned to my attitudes, values, and beliefs than you. But that doesn't, I don't know. I'm trying to say is I don't pick friends based on like how many categories we agree on.
No, people naturally
Do you know
do
what I
that though anyway, just because the way that like interests work.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I haven't thought about this too much, but I think it's a little bit more like back in the day, people disagreed and it was all good, and then people didn't make a big deal about it. But nowadays, especially when you're like a kid or in high school, things that happen, people's feelings get hurt. A big deal is made about that, and people are like, you can't hurt people's feelings at all. And you're like, I get that. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but like sometimes it's okay. Like as in, stop making it
feelings
worse.
is okay to be. That's what I said. Like it's like a band-aid.
It's like a little kid. This is a terrible example, but like a little kid who's crying, and you come over and you go, "Oh my god!" And the kid's like, "This must be important." But if you throw a piece of cheese on the kid's head, like these viral videos or whatever,
yeah.
he's crying. He just stops crying. And goes, "Oh."
Cheese
You know,
on it.
if you go over and you make it a big deal and you give you.
That's
send
very
off
true.
that
I think what
energy.
you're getting at is the, and I've got young kids. I can attest to this personally. Like when my son, if he falls over, and I just say, up you get, mate, you're okay.
They go, "Oh, maybe I'm okay."
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But if like he falls over from his mum and she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" and he's like, "Wait, am I okay? I'm not okay. I'm not okay."
Yeah.
It's a very real thing. Yeah, it's like you feed into your sort of surroundings. I guess that's the general point. So,
And I think social media too, when you're not okay,
kind of
and
does.
you do an opinion, but you get ruined. Like people will go like,
Is
and
that
it's like
okay?
a full
But
like,
that's just
you don't
straight
have much.
cowardice, though. That's what
You don't have an ability.
C.S. Lewis would say. Like you need to have courage to stand up. for your
Yeah, I
opinions.
guess. But all your problem, you might change your opinion. All your opinions are recorded forever.
Of course, you change your opinions. I think
it.
it would be.
And the fact that people like jump on your head and
Who
go crazy.
who
about it.
cares what these people think, though?
No,
Do
I
you know what mean?
agree.
Like, who gives a crap?
Yeah, I agree. These people don't know anything, but
I think we kind of grew up before social media as kids.
Mm.
So like I always find it funny, like, oh, they're on the Twitter's going crazy. Like, just turn it off, mate. Like it's
Like,
not real.
We're
It's,
booming.
you know, it's just not.
turn it off,
It's
man.
not
It's
real.
Not even real.
It's not a real thing. The internet is not real. Do you know what I mean? Like it's its own space. Like in regular life, when you're walking around, no one would ever just run up to you and be like, "You said in 2007 that you liked chicks in bikinis." You're like, "What? Okay, all right, whatever."
No,
No
but
one
if you're
says
running
that.
for office or something, it will come back. Or if you're
Maybe
Kevin Hart trying to host
Is
the
that
Oscars and he
true,
made a
though?
joke
I
about
mean, but like, have you ever met a person in real life that thinks Kevin
No.
Hart? No, it's always this like on the internet
yeah.
kind of white knight nonsense that goes on. Like in real life, people are like, yeah, Kevin Hart seems like a funny, nice guy. I should
Yeah, but
probably
he like
go to-"
was going to host the Oscars.
Yeah, I know
got
he didn't get
canned.
to
So I
do
mean,
it.
like that's a real actual hit to like a career. It's like an actual thing you
I
then
mean,
lost.
his
Yeah.
hit to the career was every movie he's ever made, just being garbage.
Oh, another Kevin Hart film.
I think I've seen
Great.
this from every
I think
other
he's
Kevin
funny
Hart
as in
movie.
person, but his films, man, he's got to get that shit together.
Yeah.
Someone's
He's
writing
basically
garbage.
just the Rock's sidekick from what I can see from the trailers.
He's everyone's psychic.
He's everyone's side. He's just
He's,
a
he's
little
the
man.
most secondary main person,
Yeah.
main character of all time.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so
Okay, so
back with
lying,
this,
look, lying isn't good.
What about your I've thought of another one.
Yeah, go on.
So we're talking about the kids dying. What if your grandma's dying?
My grandma
you're
was
like,
dying.
Well,
And
I'm
then
so
she
sorry to
died.
hear that. Well, look, my grandma's dead too. Come on. So let's just say someone's dying. It doesn't have to be anyone specific to you.
Okay, yeah.
Someone who's not dying and your family's dying.
What I
and
mean by
then-
that is I was there when she was
Yeah,
like,
fair
she was in
enough.
hospital and I got to visit her. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Well,
be.
I've been to people who are dead in hospital too. Jesus Christ. Okay. Everything I say. Yeah, I've been there. That's
sorry.
actually specific to me now. I get it. You pull my leg. But okay, so someone's dying.
Yeah.
And you're, I don't know, like you're gay or something. But you're not, it doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't really whatever. And you go there and you know that this person dying fucking hates that. And they love you. And you're just like, well, I've now this is the final time to do it. Do you just go, they ask you about your partner and you like, yeah, you know,
so
and you lie.
confused
Do
as
you know
to
what I mean? Just
Do
to
you?
keep that person
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
It's a big truth for this person
It's
who
a
hates that
crazy
shit on them.
time.
This was the stupid.
This is one of those things where I'm like,
Example,
is this
but, yeah.
like they're on their deathbed and the thing that they worry about the most is, Jason, do you have a boyfriend still? You told me you were into girls and you're into boys.
It's just one thing that comes up for some
Yeah, it's
reason.
interesting. I mean,
in
I
this
guess
scenario.
it's certainly a hot button issue. I just don't see what utility lying has. If your goal is to use an obfuscation of the truth to numb a person's passing, I think that's kind of, you're diminishing them from a fully fledged, rational person with dignity and the ability to handle good and bad news to a child.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm like,
That's a
you know
good
what?
point.
Listen, Grandma.
Probably had a lot of times before this to do it as well.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, Grandma, I am the way I am. Whether you agree with it or not, my boyfriend's Tony. We're just cool guys doing what we do. Don't agree with that.
Okay, well, let's scratch this. I don't like this example. It's just terrible.
It's terrible.
So what about like when the prime example of the white lie is someone who's come along, they go, do I look good in this dress? And you go, but hang on, in this scenario,
Yeah,
they're
I've
just
got a
about
good
to-
answer for this.
Let's say work. It's not
Got a
even
great
a
answer
colleague.
for this.
It's not even a colleague who is your friend.
Who is it then?
It's like an acquaintance. It's not your partner. It's not your
We
family.
got to bring back acquaintances on a side.
It's
note.
a side. It's
There's
a
too many
side
people like,
acquaintance.
I'm friends with this guy. No, you're not. You know this guy, like
Yeah.
vaguely.
And you know that they're
You're
about to go
friends.
out and they look really confident. And if you say anything bad, they clearly look like shit. If you say anything bad, it's going to wreck their entire night.
100% say, like, you don't look good. 100%.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't ask you though.
Think about this. You tell the truth all the time. I'm not asking you anything.
But like, you know, I've
Well,
vaguely
do you
looked.
want a glow up? Like, do you want a fake? Okay, what would you rather?
But the net
if
benefit's
we're getting
gonna be
ready, if
whatever.
we're getting ready to go out
Yeah.
to a black tie event,
Yeah.
and listen, I love you, but some of the clothes you wear, you know, Hawaiian shirts, like, you know, untucked, unkept,
It's effectively what I'm wearing right now.
fucking nonsense. Would you prefer me saying, "Hey, mate, like, tuck your shirt in, wear a white dinner jacket, you know, wear a white dinner
Well, yeah, but
sort of shirt, and we'll put a bow tie on or something."
I already know that you're going to say that, so I don't need
It's
to ask.
a very classic sort of situation.
Yeah.
But like, what would you prefer? I guess, and it's a personal thing, partly. But
Yeah.
like for me, ultimately, it's like the red pill, blue pill thing, which I
Yeah.
want to get into slightly because it's kind of interesting to
Go
me.
for it.
But like in this
I'm
scenario,
not
I'm
married
like,
to
I
this
would,
scenario. Yeah, talk about something else.
I would very much rather be disappointed but know the truth than be happy in a lie.
Okay.
Because that's a fugazi. It's not real.
Yeah.
And if you are confident in something that is unfounded and you're walking around like a peacock, and everyone else is like, this guy's a tosser, and you're going, like, again, the presumption is you're going out, you want to impress people, that's why you're dressing up.
Yeah.
And if you look like an idiot.
No, but let's say it's really subjective. So you might think they look bad, but they might be actually objectively semi-okay. You just don't like that thing they're wearing. And then do you interject your opinion that's going to hurt their feelings? When
there is,
we're not
people get
fashionistas.
so funny. I want to say speak for yourself, but I'm not a fashionista anymore. I have like 3 outfits. They're just all like English business is basically the way to go. But anyway, I digress. The point I'm trying to make is there is a difference between subjective opinion. I might not like, the open shirt, undershirt combination, like as a rule, but like I can also say, like, you don't look bad. It's not my style. Like, I wouldn't dress that way. I couldn't pull it off.
You're not talking about me. I don't really like this brown jumper either. The hell's that doing? No, I'm just... Okay, so that's a very specific example.
I was trying to say, like, it's just... Like, subjectively, I wouldn't wear that. I couldn't pull it off.
Okay.
But like, but objectively, like, you don't look bad. It's not a bad
So
look.
then really, if I was about to leave the house and meet someone for a date or
I wouldn't
something.
say, like, that's terrible.
And I'm like, I need that boost of that G-up cut. I need the G-up. You're like, well, I wouldn't really wear it.
No, but I wouldn't say that. Like, this is the thing, right? It's not all subjective.
But
like,
you're going to cause objective pain.
Yeah,
with a
sure.
subjective comment.
So what you could say is like, hey, I would tuck the undershirt in maybe, little things like that. You could say, I think it would look better if you did this. And you might go, thanks. I asked for your opinion. You gave me your opinion. Why are you upset?
Yeah,
I never
"Thank you, I
understand
appreciate
really when people ask for an opinion, they get an opinion. They're like, I just wanted you to say I look nice. Well, just ask me to tell you look nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you look nice.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd always be like, that's actually a good point. I will think about this.
yeah,
And I'll be
do you know
back.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just come back and say, Carlton, I'm going out on a date. I need to feel good, mate. You're looking good. You're a great guy. You're on fire. You're killing it.
Yeah.
Carl, how I look? I would get a haircut, shave the beard, brush your teeth.
I was like, I've got 5 minutes to change my outfit. What do you reckon? Well, you really need to get you need to whiten your teeth. And my dude, I don't have time for this.
No. I mean, but like the difference would be, I think the difference would be if like, the subjective element would be, I don't like the shirt you're wearing.
It's a dress in this scenario. It's not my shirt.
Okay. If my wife came up to me and said, I'm wearing this a pencil dress.
This green shirt over this white shirt.
No. Okay.
Got it.
All right, listen. So my wife's wearing a pencil
Yeah. Gotcha.
dress.
Pencil skirt,
I don't know what all these things are called, but like she's wearing a pencil skirt, dress situation, blouse. And she asked me, hey, how do I look? I'd be like, look, I prefer, like the sundress kind of thing. I'm not really into the pencil. I think I don't find it particularly elegant look for ladies.
Yeah.
But objectively, she probably looked very nice. Like she's a great looking woman. So, but objectively, I can say, yeah, you look fine. I think you'd look better if you wore something that I like. Obviously, that's the whole point of an opinion. But the objective reality is, do you look bad? No. But if you had you had some kind of funky hat on, like you go into the Wimbledon races, you're like, that's probably not good to wear to like work on a Friday.
You wear a top hat.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, because that was what I think when you say, do I look good or am I doing something? Well, if you're wearing something that is like, listen, mate, like it's not 2000, you can't probably pull off this outfit, doesn't make sense. Like you're combining pieces that don't work. So you're wearing like jeans and a bow tie and like a black jacket. You're like, I just wear the trousers that came with the jacket, mate. I don't know what we're doing here. I wouldn't do that. Like, and I think that's that gets to the core of like, that doesn't work. And I would want someone to say like, hey, that's not working. Or, hey, did you know, like you haven't cut the the back of the suit because you just bought
Oh,
it.
perfect. You need to know about that. That's some good.
You know what I
shit.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and would that hurt your feelings? Like, I don't know, probably not. But some people might feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
But they'd feel embarrassed in the moment, and then the rest of the night they're like, "Thank goodness I'm not walking around with the."
Yeah, actually, most of the time, if
suit
it's delivered
all tied
properly, you
up.
probably much want to know that stuff.
So I just feel like, yeah, tell the
I've
truth.
got a good one
it's
now.
good. Okay, I'll give you. Here
So
we go.
this is actually a scenario that comes up all the time
Here we
in my
go.
life. What about? No one wants to talk.
Here we
this
go.
This is gonna be shit anyway. Someone stinks at work. There's emissions going on left, right, and center because everyone's smelling it, but no one's doing anything about it. And someone's got to do it, and there's no way to break that shit. It's like almost impossible to break that news, and men can't do it. It comes across as
Is it like a woman?
I think there's that's really sexist, but like in generally, like I mean, it's pretty harsh when dudes like you fucking stink. Like it just comes across poorly and aggressive and bad.
Sure.
And I don't think I could probably do it in a way that needs to be done. What do you think about that? Do you lie and just get through the day and go home, or do you go like,
Okay,
we need to pull this
well,
person aside?
All right. So
Offensively.
I'm just trying to get my head around the scenario. So specifically it's Susan from accounts.
We figured out who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you can smell them.
They're in the pod somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the Cheez-It Dorito fingers, like it's wafting.
It's bad in this scenario.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like how bad we talking? On a scale of 1 to 10, like how bad we talking?
Like,
Distracting you from doing your work bad.
I mean, surely you could do your
This
work.
is so
Like maybe
terrible.
8
I
out
can't-
of 10
man.
BO.
8 out of 10 BO.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have to? You have to.
Well, okay, 5 out of 10 BO.
You have to.
Well, hang on.
5 out of 10 is
a smell
horrible.
that's not like really distracting from work, but it's no one wants to go and talk to this person.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is actually a pretty impressive life lesson
Yeah.
for everybody at home. Smell, and this is a specific to smell thing. Like smell is one of those things you can walk into a bathroom and it's in like you want to vomit, and within like by the time you finish urinating, you can't smell anything.
Yeah, it's a
So,
reaction type of thing.
If a person happens to have terrible BO, it's pretty likely that they have no idea they have bad
No, that's
BO.
why you can't smell yourself.
So, like in a way, the charitable thing to do, and I'm much more into obviously like Catholic virtues and stuff. Like the charitable thing to do would be just like to say to Susan, like in a respectable way, and be like, "Hey, like 1-on-1, not making a big deal about like, hey, just letting you know, you actually have pretty bad BO. I'm not sure if it's just a bad, you could make it sound like I'm not sure if it's a bad wash. Just thought I'd let you know."
You're not sure you can't wash yourself.
No, like a bad, like a bad soap or whatever, bad snow soap. Try a different soap, basically. Do you know what I mean?
You're like Catholic that you've just got this.
Oh,
You just come in one day with the smoking thing around their desk. Like, what are you doing, Carl? Nothing, man. Nothing. Go. What does
Bit of
Brendos have to
incense.
say? I've been trying.
Brendos, come here, mate. What do you got?
Hello. Haven't fact checked this yet, as I'm the producer. That's normally something I would do. But I did hear somewhere that smells work on the change of smell. So
Yeah.
when you smell something, you're smelling a change. You're not smelling the smell. I mean, that's how
Changes
noses
the fresh
work.
air to the disgusting BO of this person in the office. That's what's going on here.
So that's why it makes sense that people that have BO can't smell their own BO, because there's no change there. But
Yeah.
when they walk into a room, everyone instantly smells it. There's a change, and that's how
That's
your
right,
sense
Susan.
of smell works.
Sorry,
I
Susan.
believe.
Cameron thinks you smell
No, there's
bad.
no Susans in my office. Thank everybody.
What do you imagine there was accidentally?
Yeah, okay, I've heard that too, Brendan. Like, yeah, I think it's like a instant reaction thing. Like, 10 seconds, and after 30 seconds, it's kind of
It
like
smells an interesting
eased off
sense
a bit,
because
yeah.
it doesn't like it's not a long term. It's a very
And you can, I think, wear it out too. Like if you go on to the Maya or David Jones or whatever, the perfume place, and you smell 20 perfumes, supposedly you've like fatigued your smell, and like, you got to take a
very
break because you
sensitive
can't
organ,
tell the
isn't it,
difference.
really?
Yeah, yeah. You got
Okay.
to smell a little like a little.
So what do you think
pile
about
of
that,
coffee
though?
beans or something.
What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, you got to tell them it's the right thing to do, but it's
It's awkward.
sometimes
for you.
if they're like a non-acquaintance, it's like, well,
It's even easier because I don't care
shit.
about you at all, bro. I'm just letting you know you stink. You know what I mean? It's like if you
I'm
don't,
actually the director. You're like, oh shit, I've never met you before. I'm fired.
probably should have you've said that nicer.
Is that better than coming over with like a Lingus can subtly and just be like, shh, like when they're not paying attention?
The other, it's terrible. Like, the fact of the matter is, if someone is struggling with BO, seriously,
Yeah.
it's probably either they're not washing themselves properly, or they have something going on. They're nervous. They're sweating. There's something
Yeah.
going on. It's not good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
ultimately, like again, if it was you, would you rather someone say, "Hey, mate, like actually,
Yes, I would.
you're pretty smelly,"
100%.
and people don't want to come near you because you're smelly? You would rather the pain of that like 5 minutes and be like,
Well,
"That
usually
fucking
there's usually
sucks."
like, yeah, I actually think I do too. There's a definite reason.
Yeah.
Damn it, I've gone for a run this morning and I haven't like.
Yeah,
you know,
look, I always think I would much rather have a 5 minute tough conversation than have to deal with like just a bad situation for a long time.
And as I get older, actually, I like that honesty because I don't mind. I could take the pain more of a crummy realization because I know I'm like, oh, that's a bit of growth.
Yeah.
I can foresee that a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of like
I'm
that.
rubbing off on you. Thanks for saying.
I've had so much pain from these conversations. Oh, shit.
Just been beat up for years.
Yeah.
Just
Was it supposed to be a first thought or was it a
got
last
that.
thought in the
It's
end?
a last thought.
Now you put
last
me around.
thought.
Maybe I should tell the truth more often.
Tell the truth is good.
So what if there's only a net negative to you? You come over and the cops are there and there's a piece of trash right next to you. They say, is that your trash? And it is your trash, but no one knows. And the only person who knows is you.
Yeah, you should say yes.
And then they're like, here is a $1,000 fine.
You should say, look, I shouldn't have lit it, I guess.
But you didn't
Is
do
that
it on
responsibility?
purpose.
Well, okay, I don't know. I think we're running around the place, but responsibility for your actions, being truthful. These are some of the tenets that make a good life or a life worth living. That's, I think that's a good way to live your life.
Right.
2 blokes in a cave, trying to get out of the cave.
This one
Tell
was
the
interesting.
truth.
I
think. Tell the truth.
I think tell the truth, yeah.
The best way to get out of the cave is tell the truth as
Yeah.
often as possible.
I agree.
Very good.
Case full of lies.
Next time I see you guys, see you later.
See ya.